Welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry I haven't posted anything for a while. I hurt my back a few weeks ago and just trying to recover from that. No idea what I did, but quite sore. Anyway, said a while ago that after the Star Trek the Motion Picture video I did, I'll do one on Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Kahn. Or is it just Star Trek The Wrath of Kahn? Anyway, I first saw this film in 1982 when it first came out, and I saw it in a small town called Kendal, which is just below the Lake District in Cumbria here in the UK, in England in fact. I was on a camping trip with my dad, and it was just a really rainy day. I didn't want to sit in a tent all day and do nothing, so we said, well, let's go to the nearest town. The nearest kind of sizable town was Kendal. My dad had an idea that it had a cinema, and it did. So we had a potter round. Potter, that's a word. But we had a mooch around Kendal, and then we went to the cinema to see Star Trek 2. Now, I had seen Star Trek the motion picture, as I mentioned on my previous video, so I enjoyed it, and I was looking forward to this. I had no idea what the film was about. We didn't have the internet in 1982, so but I was absolutely blown away by it, and trying to hide tears at the end for obvious reasons. Loved the film. It was different to the first one, let's put it that way, and it really gets you at the end as well with Spock's death. Spoiler alert, sorry, should have said that at the beginning. But what I came away with after seeing the film was how fantastic the music was. James Horner wasn't even on my radar at that point. I mean, I was 14 years old, 14, 15 when I saw the film. But the music was just stunning to me. But it was about a year and a half, maybe 2 years before I actually got hold of the soundtrack album. And this is the very soundtrack album that I got. Weirdly for me, because some of my albums were damaged a few years ago, about 30 years ago, when I was in the army. The flat I was living in at the time, one of the army flats, flooded. Long story. But all my LPs were on the floor, and they all got, half of them are just kind of rippled. But this one survived. And I love this. I can't believe it's in such a pristine condition. But I played this to death. I probably recorded it onto a cassette. But it was stunning stuff. It wasn't nearly long enough, though. There were certain tracks on here I thought, I heard that in the film. I wish it was on the soundtrack. But luckily, later on, we got the expanded version. This is the Retrograde Records one, through Film Score Monthly. I don't have the expanded 2-disc La La Land one, which I think has not a huge amount more. Tell me if I'm wrong, but anyway, this will do me for now. But a wonderful score. Quite a few nods to Prokofiev and Romeo and Juliet, but James Horner was always up to those kind of shenanigans. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a fantastic score to a fantastic film. But if you haven't got Star Trek 2 in your soundtrack collection, you need it. I love James Horner, and I'm coming around to more and more of his scores now as I'm getting older. But my interest and love for this score has never waned. It's a wonderful score. With regards to film, I've had the film on video, which I don't have anymore. I don't know what happened to all my videos. I don't think I sold them. I think I probably just gave them away. Then I had it on DVD, which is somewhere in my flat, but I can't find it. I tried to find it for this video, but it's in a box somewhere. Then I got this Blu-ray collection, which had Star Trek 2 in it. There's the Star Trek 2, and it came with a load of extras. It's got 2 commentaries on it. I love commentaries. It's got a commentary by Nicholas Meyer and Manny Koto. It's also got a separate commentary track by Nicholas Meyer, who's great at commentaries. He's full of a wealth of information about the film, about his literary allusions for the film, and just all sorts. And he's a very personable guy. But tons and tons of extras on that. Then I got this box set for the 50th anniversary. Now this includes all the Star Trek films, or all of the original Star Trek TV series, and all of the animated series, which at the time was the only way to get the animated series on Blu-ray, was through this box. But this box also had the director's cut. Is it director's cut or just the extended version? Well, it had the extended version of Star Trek 2 on it, which was available separately as well, but I got this. And then last year we had the original 4 movie collection. Why just 4? Why not the original? Anyway, on 4K. And Star Trek 2 comes in both versions, the original version and the extended version on the 4K. I don't know why they didn't do the original 6, but they're available now. Yeah, and it looks stonking, technical term, on 4K. But yeah, a lot of people say that the Wrath of Kahn, if you come from North America, is one of the best Star Trek films, if not the best Star Trek film. I would probably go along with that, and I've always thought that. That's not to say anything against the other Star Trek films. I like them all, even Star Trek 5, believe it or not. But yeah, Star Trek 2 is top tier Star Trek, film-wise. Music-wise, top tier, second only to Jerry Goldsmith's magnificent original score. Star Trek the Motion Picture, Star Trek 2. A standout track from Star Trek 2. So many. There was always a piece that wasn't on the original soundtrack album. It's when Enterprise has attacked Reliant towards the end, and it's flying away, and you get that. You get that a magnificent piece of music, but it was never on the original soundtrack. But it's now on this. Love that piece. And I always loved the piece, and it wasn't until years later that it was just an almost note-for-note rip-off, is that the word? Homage to Prokofiev, was when Kirk runs down to the engine room to see what's happened to Spock. And just highly emotive music, it just sends chills down your spine. But so much great stuff on that. Yeah. So, if you haven't got it, buy it. If you've got it, listen to it. That's all for now. I don't know if I'll do anything before Christmas, but if I don't, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all again soon. Good day. Just one more thing. Let's be careful out there. No, well, be careful out there. But I was speaking to Birdman the other week, thanking him again for his magnificent box of delights that he sent me of CDs. If you haven't seen my video on that, go and watch that. Tons of music that he gave me. But for Christmas, he gave me the Goldsmith at 20th, not 20th Century Fox, Goldsmith at 20th, all 5 volumes. And he said, I tried to resist opening these, taking them out of the cellophane before Christmas, but I couldn't do it. They were just sitting there staring at me, screaming at me to play them, and I did. But I told him that, and he said, you should review them. So I will do that. So there will be reviews of all 5 of these coming up, and there is a ton of music on here, tons and tons of music. We've got Von Ride Express, The Blue Max, The Detective, The Flim Flam Man, Spies, The Stripper, Tora Tora Tora, Ace, Eli and Roger of the Skies, from a story by Steven Spielberg, and we've got a load of TV stuff. Anna and the King, A Girl Named Sooner, Prudence and the Chief, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, Nick Quarry, Only in America, Room 222. So there will be reviews and and stuff coming up about those. So, yep, that's it. Again, Merry Christmas. See you soon.